The next thing here is getting prepared for the capital raise. So maybe you've identified a type of capital or two that you think is going to be best for your business, and now it's time to get ready for that raise to make it successful. So I like simple frameworks, and when you're preparing yourself for a capital raise, there's really three questions that you're trying to answer for your investors or potential investors. And the first is, why you, right? Why as a lender or as an investor should we invest with you? The second question is, why this project? Why is this a good deal to finance? And then the third question that you're really trying to answer, information you're trying to provide, is look at the great team that I have that is here to support me. So let's go through these in a little bit more detail. So the why you question. The first thing that I like to cover, if you can, is your previous experience, so the previously completed projects. It's really simple to do. Get a spreadsheet going, property address, the date you purchased it, the price you paid for it, the amount of work that you put into it, what you sold it for, and some links to the Zillow or Redfin of the listing, so the investor or the lender can get a good sense of the quality of work that you do. So have that list of previously completed projects ready to go, ready to share. Which is a very easy way to show folks that you're a capable operator and worthy of their capital. If you don't have that experience because you're just getting started, be thinking about other relevant professional experience. Are you a real estate agent? Are you a contractor? Do you work for a new home builder? Maybe it's not real estate investing specific at all, but you've created a successful career in other industry. Whatever you can do to demonstrate to the investor, to the lender, that you're going to be a capable and competent and responsible steward of their capital is really going to help answer that question around why you. The other thing that you should be prepared to talk about is your personal net worth. How much do you have in your checking and your savings and your brokerage accounts and your 401k? Again, depending on where you're at on that spectrum, maybe your friends and family don't care so much about that, but as you get into more of the institutional capital or even banks, the lenders want to know how much capital do you have available to you to certainly purchase the real estate assets that you're talking about purchasing, but also deal with any challenges that may come up. Most people that are going to give you capital are expecting to get paid back. And for most real estate lenders, we understand that we're getting paid back when the property sells or refinances, but we also have interest payments that are due, and there's taxes that have to be paid, and there's insurance premiums that have to be paid. So lenders are going to understand how are you going to cover the costs of your business while you're working through a specific project. So if you still have a day job, if you have rental properties, if you have other side hustles that generate income, where all your capital is coming from and how consistent that capital is coming in. And the more you can show here, the better. The other thing is pay attention to your credit score, particularly as you grow into institutional capital. Most of these lenders aren't totally underwriting on credit score alone, like is often the case when you're buying a house. Credit does matter. It shows that you know how to manage your money, that you've got a pattern of responsible behavior kind of as a borrower. And there's things you can do to make sure that your credit score stays good. Pay your credit card balances. Make sure you don't have too high of what's called a utilization rate. So not something to be neglected. And if you don't have perfect credit score today, that's okay too. Now's a great time to start working on that so that you can open up different options as your business continues to grow. Same kind of with background. At some point, background check is going to get run on you. We understand that things happen, right? And most things that are on background checks are overcomable for this type of real estate lending. It's better to, like we say, talk about it and get it out up front, because the worst thing that can happen is we find those things out late into the process and we feel like that information should have been disclosed. So if there are things that are on your background, I always advise talk to whoever you're working with at that lender, explain what the situation was. In most cases, those things can be worked through. The final point here is investors are investing in you as much as they are investing in the project. So you want to do whatever you can do to put your best foot forward and be able to show that you're going to be able to execute against this project, and you're going to be a good partner, not only on the project that you're looking for funding today, but on future projects as well. Again, the first question, why you? These are some of the main things that we look at as lenders, and most lenders are looking at. So spend some time on putting together your story, which will be unique to you, why you're the best person for this lender to or investor to back. Second most important thing then is the project, right? And ideally, you're coming to the investor with a project under contract. The thing that we like to look at is, how did you acquire this property? What's the story, right? And why is this a good purchase price? There's better answers to this than others, but generally speaking, the saying goes, right, money is made when you buy real estate, not when you sell real estate. And I think that's mostly true. You should have a pretty good story as to why you're getting an inside track on this particular project and why it's such a good buy at the price that you're paying for it. And this is kind of like one of the chicken or the egg things, particularly for people that are just getting started, is how do you go get a property under contract if you're not sure you have the capital? This is what I did when I started my business. Is you can create a hypothetical project, right? So this is the neighborhood that I'm going to work in. This is the type of house I'm looking to buy. This is generally what the specs are. This is generally the price I'm going to buy it for, and shop that around to your family, friends, private money network, to see if people would support that type of project, and then go find one. But ideally, you've got a project under contract. It's a real thing that we can talk about, and you've got a good story as to why you're buying it, right? The next thing you'll need to put together is the statement of work, the SOW as it's often called, right? So the more details, the better. What we're looking for here is, how are you going to add value to this property, and how much is it going to cost? So this really tells the story, both on the current condition of the home, but also to what level you're going to renovate it, which will inform ultimately what the home will sell for. So spend some time, build a detailed statement of work. If you walk the property with contractors or subcontractors and you can include their bids, that's also a great thing. But the more information here, the better. The next thing you're going to have a good handle on is the ARV, right? The after renovated value or after repair value. How much do you think the house is going to sell for? How much is the house going to be worth once the renovations are made? And this should be well supported with comps, right? So if you've got a 4-bed, 2-bath that's 1,800 square feet in ABC town, your comps should also be 4-bed, 2-bath, about 1,800 square feet in similar school districts, pretty close, with finishes that are similar to how you're planning on finishing out your property, right? So you want to be able to tell the investor, you want to be able to tell the story. Here's why I'm buying it, right? Here's what I'm going to do to the house, and here's how much it's going to be worth once I'm done. And then you can't forget the carrying costs. So a lot of investors, particularly new ones, overlook things like the interest payments you're going to have to make, and the property taxes, and the insurance, and the utilities. So make sure you also load in all of your carrying costs. And then be prepared to talk about what your exit strategy is. Are you going to sell it? Are you going to refinance it and hold it as a rental property? If so, what can you expect to get from a rent perspective, and what do you expect to be able to get from a refinancing perspective? And really what you're trying to build up to here is a thorough analysis of the profitability of the project. No matter if it's a lender or no matter if it's a private equity investor, we're both looking for the same thing, which is, can this deal make money? And if the deal can't make money, one, you shouldn't want to do it, but it's going to be very difficult to finance, because financing deals that are set up to fail is not something that most good lenders are going to want to do. So there's a lot of tools out there for this, but get smart on, again, being able to create a good case for why this project is going to make you money, because if you make money, there's a better chance you're going to be able to pay back your lenders and your investors. And the last piece of this of getting prepared is your team, right? So do you have partners? What's their relevant experience? What value do they bring? How do you guys divide the duties? And again, building that case for your team. If you're working with contractors or subs, are they well-known names? Do they have a lot of experience in doing this? Have you worked with them before? Be prepared to talk about who's going to help actually execute the project if it's not you. Title, escrow, and legal are also very important, right? So who do you typically work with on closing your transactions? Are they familiar with these types of property searches and title lien clearances? And can they represent you well, good from a legal perspective? Lean into that. Similar with property casualty insurance, right? It takes a special kind of policy to insure appropriately a fix and flip or a new construction home, right? So you're working with someone that can get you the right type of coverage. And then last but not least, real estate agent. Who's going to help you sell the property? Oftentimes this person can also, be a good advisor to you on what are some of the best things you can do in terms of adding value to the property to maximize the value. So you're going to want to put together your whole team beyond just yourself, and again put your best foot forward. So when you're preparing for the raise, again, 3 questions: why you, why this project, and your team. First impressions matter, right? So put a little bit of time into this. Put your best foot forward, particularly when you're having initial conversations with investors or lenders, so you can really get them excited about the potential to work with you and finance your projects.